I'd like to share the story of our visit to White Sands National Park, one of the most unique landscapes we've explored. At first glance, it almost feels as though you've landed on another planet. Endless waves of brilliant white dunes stretch to the horizon in every direction. As we approached the park, the scenery gradually changed. The surrounding desert looked fairly typical for southern New Mexico, but then suddenly the dazzling white dunes appeared. The contrast was striking. Against the deep blue sky, the dunes seemed to glow. Even before stepping out of the car, we knew this was going to be a memorable experience. One of the first things that surprised us was learning that these aren't sand dunes in the traditional sense. Most sand dunes are made of quartz, but the dunes at White Sands are composed of gypsum crystals. Gypsum is actually a mineral that dissolves easily in water, so large gypsum dune fields are extremely rare around the world. The story of how these dunes formed is fascinating. Millions of years ago, this area was covered by a sea. As the sea disappeared, gypsum deposits were left behind. Rain and snow in the nearby mountains dissolved the gypsum and carried it into a basin where the water had nowhere to escape. Over time, the water evaporated, leaving gypsum crystals behind. Winds then broke those crystals into tiny grains and sculpted them into the incredible dunes we see today. One fun fact is that White Sands contains the world's largest gypsum dune field, covering roughly 275 square miles. Standing on top of a dune and looking out across this sea of white, it's easy to believe it. After arriving, we began exploring the scenic drive through the heart of the dunes. The road winds through constantly shifting landscapes. Since the dunes move and change over time, park staff regularly mark the road edges with tall poles so visitors can stay on course. It's a reminder that this is a living landscape, continually reshaped by the wind. One of our favorite moments was simply walking out onto the dunes. From a distance, they appear smooth and gentle, but once you're on them, you discover countless ridges, patterns, and textures created by the wind. Every dune seems unique. The sunlight casts beautiful shadows that constantly change throughout the day. The silence was remarkable. Away from the parking areas, everything became incredibly peaceful. The soft gypsum sand absorbs sound, creating an almost dreamlike quietness. It felt like we had stepped into a different world where the normal noises of daily life simply disappeared. As we hiked, we noticed animal tracks crisscrossing the sand. Although the dunes may seem barren at first glance, they're actually home to a surprising variety of wildlife. Many animals have adapted to the bright environment by evolving lighter colors. Scientists have identified several species that are noticeably paler than their relatives living elsewhere in the desert. These adaptations help them blend into the white landscape and avoid predators. One of the most enjoyable activities at White Sands is sledding. Unlike most national parks, visitors are encouraged to bring or purchase plastic sleds and slide down the dunes. Watching families climb to the tops of the dunes and race downhill brought a sense of fun and excitement to the experience. It was impossible not to smile as children and adults alike laughed their way down the slopes. Another memorable aspect of our visit was the way the colors changed throughout the day. While the dunes appear white, they reflect the changing light beautifully. In the morning, the dunes can have a cool blue tint. During the afternoon, they're brilliantly bright. Near sunset, shades of gold, pink, and orange begin to appear. The shifting colors make photographers especially happy, and it's easy to see why so many people stay for sunset programs. Speaking of photography, White Sands is one of those places where it's difficult to take a bad picture. Every direction offers sweeping views, dramatic curves, and striking contrasts. The simple combination of white dunes, blue sky, and occasional desert vegetation creates endless photographic opportunities. One particularly interesting story connected to this region involves human history. Archaeologists have discovered ancient footprints preserved in the area that suggest people lived here tens of thousands of years ago. These discoveries have provided valuable insights into some of the earliest known human activity in North America. Imagine standing among these dunes and realizing that people may have walked this landscape during the Ice Age. The park also shares a unique relationship with the surrounding military lands. Nearby is the famous White Sands Missile Range. Occasionally, roads into the national park may temporarily close during missile testing activities. It's one of the few places where an ancient natural wonder and modern aerospace history exist side by side. As the day went on, we found ourselves repeatedly stopping just to appreciate the scenery. There's something calming about the repeating shapes of the dunes. The landscape encourages you to slow down, look around, and simply enjoy being present. Perhaps the most memorable part of the visit was climbing to the top of a high dune and taking in the panoramic view. In every direction, the white dunes rolled across the horizon like frozen ocean waves. It was easy to forget we were standing in the middle of a desert. The scene felt almost surreal. For anyone planning a visit, a few tips can make the experience even better. Bring plenty of water, as the desert environment can be deceptively dry. Sunglasses are extremely helpful because the bright white gypsum reflects a tremendous amount of sunlight. Sunscreen is essential, and comfortable shoes make walking through the soft sand much easier. If possible, consider visiting near sunrise or sunset when temperatures are cooler and the lighting is at its most beautiful. Looking back, White Sands National Park was much more than a stop on our travels. It was a place that combined geology, history, wildlife, adventure, and breathtaking beauty into one unforgettable experience. From the brilliant white dunes and fascinating science behind their formation to the simple joy of walking across an otherworldly landscape, it left a lasting impression on us. White Sands reminds us that some of the most extraordinary places aren't always the tallest mountains or deepest canyons. Sometimes they're vast oceans of white sand quietly shifting in the desert wind, waiting to surprise everyone who visits.